Alright guys, how's it going? I'm StattoJoe, you're a legend for watching this video, and today we're going to be looking at some of the key transfer deadline day signings, and there's no better place to start than Liverpool, who made two centre-back signings which were much needed after Joel Matip has been confirmed to be out for the rest of the season. So the first player we're going to look at is Ben Davies, who was signed from Preston North End for £2 million, who is probably a solid player. He'll do a job. He'll do a job. He'll come in. He'll be a solid defender. Maybe get that experience. This could be the making of him. Could be the breaking of him as well. But hopefully, this will be a positive thing for Ben Davies. He comes into this season. He's played 19 games. No attacking contributions. Not necessarily unexpected for a defender. And as far as I understand it, Preston aren't doing amazingly well this season in the league. So in terms of when you look at his team performance and the team success, you can just see this is the row we're looking at here. When he's played, they've scored 21 and conceded 23. So on the slightly negative goal difference side for when he plays, but that isn't necessarily his problem. Now, what do I think in terms of him coming as a signing for Liverpool? I think it's a decent move. So he was signed for just £2 million. It's a permanent transfer as well. And I think for Liverpool, it's a good signing for them because he'll bring that defensive solidness that they need, and it can allow Jordan Henderson to go into the midfield and provide that role. And it's good for him, Ben Davies, the player, to develop his skills as a footballer. Maybe it'll make him become a better player. Who knows? But when he's so cheap, there isn't a big risk involved because he didn't cost £25 million or the like. So for Liverpool, it's a good move. But that wasn't enough for them. They had to bring in another defender, Ozan Kabak from Schalke 04, a team who really are really struggling this season. I did see an interesting opinion. I'm pretty sure this was yesterday on Sky Sports News, and they were saying about how he's coming from a team that are used to losing and don't aren't expected to succeed to a team that are striving for the league, who need to win. He's very young. He's only 20. So is this a good deal? Is it not? Well, looking at the stats, it's kind of difficult because it looks as though he's not doing much. This season, 14 games, 6 yellow cards, prone to fouling. He's got one red. He hasn't scored any goals, hasn't assisted anything, but again, he's a defender. So would you expect that? Maybe not. I think the really interesting one is when you look at his the team success and what the team success is when he plays. So he hasn't played every game. He's played 14, which isn't the entire league so far for the Bundesliga. But when he has played, and I think this is quite interesting, Schalke have only scored 11 goals, but they've conceded 38 in 14 games he's played. They've conceded 38. So again, it's hard to know, is that a problem with him? Is that a problem with the team? And when you look at that, like that's nearly a negative 2 goal difference per game. Like that's shocking. And I think bringing him to Liverpool, it's a good move from Liverpool. It's a loan deal. It only cost £1 million. He can develop as a player. He can be used as a backup. In games where maybe they need to rest a player and they feel like they can play him, it'll give him some experience. And there's an option to buy at the end. So if he's really outstanding for them, they can buy him, develop him even more, maybe bring him into this starting role for Liverpool. So all in all, probably a decent move from Liverpool. You're not going to see him featuring every game, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. That's just how I see it. Now, the next two players are two young players who left Arsenal to try and get more game time. First up is Joe Willock, who has joined Newcastle on a loan deal until the end of the season. Now, Joe Willock, he came up from the Arsenal academy, and he has some decent stats. Not at first team level, not spectacular yet, but that's the point of this move. He's 21. He's lots to learn, and the aim for Arsenal here is to really get him into first team experience so that he can thrive and grow as a player. And we can see that the Europa League, they used him to great effect. So he played 5 of their games in the Europa League before, and he scored 3 and assisted 3. So 6 goal contributions in just over 300 minutes is not something to look away from and think that's not good. That is decent. That's a really good performance for him. And he's got an XG in that on 1.4, so he scored double the goals that he should have. If goals were able to be decimals, then be a strange world. But that's how the XG stat works. But overall, in his stats, there's nothing that pops out and jumps out and says, this is a star. He hasn't had a chance in the league. He played one game last season. He hasn't really played many this season. Sorry, he played 8 this season. 8 starts. Sorry, my bad. I was in the wrong row. He scored 1 goal last season. But hopefully for Newcastle, they needed an attacking midfielder. They severely lack pace in midfield, so for him to come in, maybe inject that pace, maybe get a couple of goals, a couple of assists, hopefully it'll work out for both parties. Finally, Ainsley MaitlandNiles, who's linked with a number of clubs actually. He's a great defender, a great attacking defender as well. He can really put in some balls into the box, and I think it's for him to get away is going to be good for him, just to develop more, maybe become an elite wing back, shall we say, and he probably brings something to West Brom that they don't have. West Brom they are a championship side in the Premier League. I don't think you can deny that. Their squad is severely lacking. Big Sam is struggling in terms of what they have. And I don't think that's a secret. But if we just look at some of his stats, I think this is really important. So this SCA stat, which is shot creating actions. So as a fullback, a good fullback will probably, a good modern fullback, someone like Andy Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold, who can burst forward. They want to have a relatively high shot creating actions figure. So he's looking at, in his total playing time of 5.4 games, how many appearances that works out as, he's at 11 shot creating actions. So for West Brom, who are in vital need of goals and attacking, hopefully he'll bring defensive solidness, but also hopefully he'll bring in that shot creating attacks that will help them score a few goals and bring them out. So again, I think it's a decent move overall. I think all 4 moves that we've looked at today, I think that's decent. But what are your thoughts? Or if your club didn't sign anyone, are you annoyed about that? Or if they did sign someone, what do you think about those signings? What do you think about these signings? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are on 21 subs. I'm on the road to 50. Help me on that road. There'll be plenty of videos coming out throughout this week and the rest of the season. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. It'll really, really help me out. But that was the stats. And I'll be back next time with some more statistical analysis.